So today is February the 27th. We know that tomorrow, the 28th, there has been a nationwide blackout called a buyout, I should say. Blackout Black Friday is what I'm calling it. I don't know that this was actually something that was started by Black people. But it is something that I have gotten, like my elders have sent it to me. So I know it's a big deal when the elders are sending me social media stuff. But there is this desire or a plan to Friday, tomorrow, February the 28th. We ain't buying nothing. We ain't buying nothing. We ain't spending no money with nobody. This here on this show, we have been doing FUBU February all February. And FUBU February is basically whether you were boycotting, which some people were doing, or you were proactively buying Black, which we were trying to do. FUBU February said, regardless of how you spending your money, we have to get into the mindset that we currently consume as a people, which is provided for us by other people. We have to realize that we are in a moment right now where those other people who provide that thing that our community needs that we do not provide for ourselves, we have to be clear that those people now have the power to say, we're not going to give it to you no more. We don't like you. We're just not that into you. And there's nothing that you can do about it. Oh, and by the way, the Civil Rights Act is not going to stand long enough to force us to give it to you. And did y'all know, we're not going to talk about this today, but the Civil Rights Act is now a lawsuit that is making its way up to the Supreme Court that might expand the Civil Rights Act such that it protects white people from discrimination. I know, but we're going to talk about that next week, not today. Anyway, getting back to this. So tomorrow, Friday, the 28th of February, there has been a nationwide call to not spend no money. Now, we at FUBU February, even if whatever we were spending here, our commitment was that we were going to, before we spent a dime, we were going to pause. Like you pulling out your credit card, your debit card, you about to do your Apple Pay or your Google Pay, whatever, before you could click that button. The goal of FUBU February was that we are going to pause and then ask ourselves, does a Black person sell this? Is there a Black-owned entity that sells this product? Now, chances are there might be. And if there is, that's wonderful. Chances are, if there is a Black person that sells this product, I'm probably not going to get it as quickly as this big box store that I plan to buy from, or this Amazon Prime order that I want to submit. Chances are, if there's a Black entity that owns this thing and I want to patronize them, then it might take me a little while. So FUBU February was not solely about buying Black, but it was also about retraining and renewing our mindset. Shout out to post-traumatic slave syndrome, so that we have a different relationship with consumption. And we had the caller who at the beginning of closer to the beginning of the show was talking about where we spend our money and the mental healing that is going to be necessary for us to get to a place where we are no longer spending our money with institutions that can't stand our Black asses, right? Like that's just what it is. So tomorrow, it's not specifically Black. There is a 24-hour economic blackout that has the potential to be pretty massive tomorrow. And they're writing about it on the news. I'm seeing it everywhere, and not just Black media. There is a nationwide call to not spend no money tomorrow. Now, I'm focusing on the Black because we like I said, we appreciate the righteous whites showing up at their town halls and doing stuff, but we not quite convinced yet. We're not convinced the righteous whites is here to do the right thing for the long haul. But we are excited to see that the righteous whites are also calling for an economic blackout. So what that means is this is about showing our money and showing our power. And while they're doing it for political reasons, we're doing it because we don't like what y'all doing. We're doing it because y'all trying to act like diversity, equity, and inclusion is a problem for y'all, when really the only reason we needed diversity, equity, and inclusion bill is because y'all had this multi-century agreement that you was going to block every non-Black and every non-white person from everything, every opportunity, every point of access, every bit of resource. Y'all did that. So that's why we needed diversity, equity, and inclusion, because y'all couldn't get rid of the racism on your own. So we doing it because what we not going to tolerate is y'all playing in our face. We're not going to tolerate that. So that's why now I know y'all doing it for political reasons. I just needed to be know what we doing it for. And in our community, it's not just Friday. It's not just tomorrow. I've seen that there are a number of calls for additional efforts in multiple days. They're there, and it's a growing, escalating thing. And I know it's sort of what we're doing as the global majority is sort of existing in tandem with what they are doing as a political movement right now, a political movement fueled by economic realities right now. But I just want us to be clear. What this means is if you got to spend some money, you got to do it today. If you need to order something, you need to order it today. We're not spending no money tomorrow because y'all not gonna play in our face. We're not spending. If you got to order it from the Black company today. Black companies, we're gonna see you on Saturday. Because the money we don't spend with you tomorrow, because March is going to be Black History Month, March edition. And so in Black History Month, March edition, we're going to continue FUBU February because it's FUBU forever. It's FUBU forever. And so I want us to be really clear about what we're grappling with right now and just know that that is happening. And the caller, we had a couple of callers who would talk in some way, shape, or form about the potentiality of boycotting. And I think that's a beautiful thing. One caller said we need to boycott Essence Fest. And we're gonna have that conversation at another time. But I hear you. I see what's happening. But we're in a moment right now where the nation is reacting and responding to things in a different way. And that's good. Righteous, y'all keep it up. Good job. Us, global majority, y'all know what time it is. And you know why we doing this thing. Let them do what they're going to do. Let them do what they're going to do. That's fine. They righteous should be doing that work. They should be economically boycotting. They should. But what we are doing is to make sure that our community is sustainable. And so in the process of not spending any money tomorrow, we are also continuing the process of renewing our minds so that we are going to be able to really sit firmly in this new era that we find ourselves in. We're in an era right now where if the Civil Rights Act goes the way of defending white people and not defending anybody who was actually designed for, if these things happen, we have to realize that the consume that we do not provide for ourselves, that other people provide for us. We are just a few Supreme Court decisions away from them being able to say, what we're not going to do is provide you that resource anymore. So we just need to be mindful. We have a little bit of time to get ready for this, but we need to get ready for this because it is here, it is happening, and I want us to be aware of it. All right, any questions? And let me check the chat because y'all know sometimes I just be staring at the camera and forget about the chat. And my computer's messed up, so I can't see the chat anyway. Hopefully there's no questions in the chat. If there's a question in the chat, I will get to it. I'll get to it later, I suppose. I don't even know if I'm still streaming because my computer is completely messed up. But I want to talk with you all now. I probably am not streaming. I mean, if you could check that, I think the stream is over. Sorry, YouTube. We tried. There is another issue that I want to address with all of you, and that is this issue of what's happening with Social Security. So while we are saving our money and while we ain't spending no money tomorrow, oh, I'm still live on it. Oh, okay. Hi, YouTube. Sorry, my computer is fugazi right now. I don't even know what's happening. I want you to be aware of what's happening as we are being much more mindful about how we're spending our money. We are choosing to no longer fund the people who benefit from oppressing us. I want you to be aware of what's going on right now. We've talked extensively about the cuts to Medicaid. Now we're learning that they are also very clear, and it's not so much that we're learning it, but they are now saying the private, quiet parts out loud and in public, that they really do have it as a part of their intention to destroy Social Security and Medicare. And by they, I mean the Republicans. Now, somebody on one of my YouTube comments had said something to the effect of, why can't you ever criticize the Democrats? I criticize the Democrats a lot. The Democrats get on my damn nerves because the Democrats move as slow as molasses going uphill on a cold day. However, the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans is that the Democrats do not currently, because this could change, they do not currently have a plan to wipe us off the face of the American history map, right? They don't, that's not what they're trying to do. The Republicans are trying to not only destroy every policy that we as Black communities rely upon. If y'all hear a noise in the background, that's my cat, Kiara. She just entered the room. And I'm streaming from home today, so there's that. But it's not so much that they're also trying to destroy all of the pillars that uphold integration and allow us to have an opportunity in this country. They're trying to destroy the entire economic safety net that this country has come to rely upon. I want to explain to you why that is. And that's something that is uniquely Republican, right? Uniquely Republican. Back when Social Security, actually, let me go even farther. Before Social Security started, old people would die at the job. Like before Social Security, because Social Security did not always exist. And for you who might be listening to this from another country, or you may not be familiar, Social Security is basically a pension plan. It is something that says every check that you make working in this country, you send a portion of it into Social Security. In exchange for that, when you get too old to work, you will be able to draw down on your portion, your appropriate portion of what your Social Security benefits are. And that means that when you can no longer physically work, you have a plan, you have finance. It's not a lot, to be clear, but you have financial resources that will then be poured back into you. Now, the reason this is important and the reason we ended up getting a Social Security plan is because before Social Security, you would work until you died. Or if you worked and then you could no longer work because you were physically unable, either because of age or disability, or God forbid, an accident you had at the workplace, you would go to the poorhouse. That, like, the poorhouse was a real place. And the poorhouse was basically, think of it as like a shelter, but for old people. And people who were considered unsalvageable. So if you had a mental illness, you'd be at the poorhouse or you'd be at the insane asylum. If you were old and couldn't work no more and your family didn't rock with you or you ain't had no family to take care of, you go to the poorhouse, and then God help you. Don't know how long you was going to last there because the conditions were terrible, child, terrible. And so after the Great Depression happened, there was this whole economic revolution ushered in under the presidency of FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And he and the folks who are working alongside him, at that point it was the Democrats, but I got to be clear with y'all, the Democrats and the Republicans, they switch sides a lot. And racism and white nationalism is in all the parties. It just depends on what's happening in the broader society that will pull out more racism in one party than the other party. So right now, what's happening in broader society is pulling out the racism in white people in the Republican Party way more than it is in the Democratic Party. But be clear, it can switch sides. It can switch quickly. We have no permanent friends here, but we do have permanent interests, and my interests are the liberation of the global majority. So after the Great Depression, FDR and the Democrats is like, hey, man, this don't work. Like, people are poor, people are destitute, but people also up until that time had no expectation of like unemployment insurance. So like if they lost their job, the idea of being able to get money, even if you had lost a job, did not exist. They did not have an expectation of Social Security. These things did not exist. They did not have an expectation for OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Hazard Agency. I can't remember what the H stands for. Anyway, there's an agency called OSHA that basically says if you're a factory worker, you cannot be forced to step into a vat of green, mysterious slime because your boss said so, because that's a violation of your safety rights at the workplace. Before OSHA, before FDR, there was no expectation that the government was going to prevent corporations from allowing you to basically dive into vats of goo or work under conditions that were exposing you to asbestos and toxic chemicals. And so after the Great Depression, Franklin Delano Roosevelt ushers in this era called the Great Society, or the New Deal. And basically, it was a whole lot of benefits that white people would be able to get from the government. And I say white people because Black people were excluded from this. White people could now get Social Security. They invented it. It did not exist previously. White people could now get unemployment insurance. They invented that. It had not existed previously. And so we have, since the 1930s, had a new expectation of government that y'all gonna do more than just be the government. Y'all gonna make sure that what we cannot do on our own as individuals, the government will do on our behalf as a people. Getting my grandpa out the poorhouse because he can no longer work is not something that I might be able to do. But if we had a Social Security program, Pop might be able to stay at the house. He ain't got to go to the poorhouse. And so Social Security at that time was promoted by the Democrats, bitterly, vigorously resisted by the Republicans. They ain't never liked Social Security. They do not like these social welfare programs because they believe in privatization of everything. They want to privatize your Medicare, which means you don't get Medicaid and Medicare and a universal health care plan. You got to pay for your health. You got to pay for it. They don't believe in SNAP benefits and food stamps for people. You don't work, you don't eat, says Clam and Burn. They don't like it when people get to eat and they ain't work for it. And so not only do they not want you to have food stamps, they want to criticize what you get when you get the food stamps. They don't like you having access to anything free because it goes against their free market reality. That's just a little bit of history so y'all understand what it is that's motivating them right now, because they is coming for your grandmama's Social Security. They are coming for Medicaid, and they're definitely coming for Medicare. So Trump's Commerce Secretary, I had to explain all of that so we can get to this point, because we're not buying nothing tomorrow. We got to recognize the power of economics, and here's how they are approaching economics. Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, he was on an interview with Jesse Waters from Fox News a couple days ago. And he says, back in October, this is Howard Lutnick, who is the Commerce Secretary right now in office. He says, back in October, I flew down to Texas. I'm sorry. Got to switch it up. Back in October, I flew down to Texas. I got Elon Musk to set up Doge, and here's our agreement. Listen to this. Our agreement was that Elon was going to cut $1 trillion of waste, fraud, and abuse. We have almost $4 trillion of entitlements, and no one's ever looked at it before. You know, Social Security is wrong. You know, Medicaid and Medicare are wrong. So Elon, is going to cut $1 trillion, and we're going to get rid of all these tax scams that hammer against America, and we're going to raise $1 trillion of revenue. That's the Republican plan. They've never liked Social Security. They've never liked Medicaid. They've never liked Medicare. And so their plan is to cut all of these programs so that they can have enough money for their tax benefits. And you heard what he said there. You know, Medicaid is wrong. You know, Medicare is wrong. You know, Social Security is wrong. They fundamentally want you to die if you cannot afford to work. So, with this discussion, it's important to look at what the impact of these cuts are going to be. Now, my plan was to have the chat up. Oh, the chat is back. Okay, I can see it now. Here's what I need y'all to do. Don't tell me where you live. Don't tell me what your zip code is. But I want you to tell me a zip code of somebody in your community that you were, maybe a grandmother. It doesn't have to be your personal zip code, because the Democrats have a tool. The Democrats have released a tool, and Amina and Jonah, I'm going to share this to y'all. I thought I'd already did it already, but this is the Democrats budget house tool that basically allows you to see the impact of what these cuts are going to do in your local community. So I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use the zip code. What zip code can I use? Okay, let me use a zip code, one of the ones I know in Brooklyn. Let's see. So if we were to look in a Brooklyn zip code, I'm typing in the tool. And in fact, you know what I can also do? I'm going to drop this into the Nubia chat because I want y'all to use this tool now. We're going to use this tool because we're going to see what the impact of these things are in our community. And I'm going to drop this into the chat as well. Hold on. Can I get it in there? Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So y'all not have, okay. Yes. It went into the chat. Nubia, my Nubia screen just dropped. So I got to log back in, but I'm going to get it to y'all too. You can type in the zip code anywhere in the country, and it will show you how much these cuts are going to impact your local community. So I have typed in a zip code in Brooklyn. Hold on, where'd it go? Let me get it. I typed in a zip code in Brooklyn. So if I type in 11216, which is a zip code not too far from where my cousins and them live, 11216 is a zip code in Brooklyn. According to this tool, the GOP Social Security cuts in the zip code 11216 in Brooklyn, New York. And y'all in the chat, give me a zip code because I'm going to try it in your zip code too. They said that rate, because an additional thing that Republicans are trying to do, in addition to cutting Social Security, they also want to raise the retirement age for Americans. And so here you go. In 11216, if these cuts go through, it will, let's see, cut Social Security benefits for 570,000 people in New York's 8th congressional district, because 11216 is in New York's 8th congressional district. So that means they're going to have to work a lot longer for less. And it'll 15 million, or 76% of the people in New York who get Social Security would see their Social Security benefits cut. That's how the tool works. You got to know these things, because when the righteous go to the town halls and they have information and data, here are some of the ways they're getting information and data. Let's get it. Let me see if any of y'all gave me a zip code. Hold on. Okay, I see a zip code. I'm going to take 31206. All right, the chat is moving too fast, so I can't really see. Let's try it. Okay, 206. Let's see what will happen in that zip code. This is a zip code. Let's see where this one is. Hold on, let me see. This one is this in Georgia? This is in Georgia. All right, Georgia's 2nd congressional district. So the impact of these Social Security cuts that the Republicans are pushing forward right now would cut benefits for 77% of the people in the 2nd district of Georgia, forcing them to work longer for less. And in total, 8.6 million, or 79% of the people in the state of Georgia, would see their Social Security benefits cut. You see how this tool works? Let me get one more. So hold on, I'm back. Okay, let's go to 23223. All right, that's the zip code 23223. Hold on, my computer is slow. I need another laptop. 23223. Isn't that a first world problem? That's really ridiculous to me. Hold on, I typed it in wrong. Hold on. Okay, no, here it goes. Okay, all right. In zip code 23223, this is a zip code in Virginia's 4th congressional district. In this district, the cuts that the Republicans are trying to push forward right now would cut Social Security benefits for 600,000 people in Virginia's 4th congressional district. In total, 6.7 million, or 77% of the people in Virginia, would see their Social Security benefits cut. Somebody give me a righteous district. Hold on, let me go back. Give me a white district. Somebody got a white zip code that I can use? Oh, I got one. Let me see. Oh, no, that's in New York City. I don't feel like that's fair. Somebody give me a white zip code. Is 29445 a white zip code? Let me, and by white, I mean predominantly white community. Sorry, I should explain what I'm talking about. All right, I'm gonna see. Let's see. No, we'll just try. Let's go with 73159. Okay, 73159. Let's see. Is this a predominantly white zip code? We're gonna find out. Hold on. Let me get back to the other screen. I got too many tabs open. 73. What did I say? 73. Hold on. I gotta go back. 73159. Okay, 73159. Y'all see we be producing in real time. 73159. How many cut? What would the cuts do in this zip code? All right, where is this one at? This one's in Oklahoma. All right. I don't know if it's a white district, but it's in Oklahoma. All right, so it's in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, the Social Security cuts that the Republicans are planning right now would cut benefits in Oklahoma's 3rd congressional district. 620,000 people would see their Social Security benefits cut. And in total, 3.1 million people in the state of Oklahoma would also see their Social Security benefits cut. Do you see how this tool works? This is real life we're talking about. So tomorrow, we ain't spending no money. Y'all doing it in the non-global majority for very good reasons. Keep it up, righteous. But we doing it because of the global majority. We don't like how y'all be playing in our faces. We don't like it, and we're going to start flexing our political muscle because Black people alone, if we were only talking about the above ground economy, y'all know what I'm saying, because we ain't talking about the underground economy. We was only talking about the above ground economy. We spend a sufficient money. I'm not saying we have this in our banks, but we spend, wherever we getting it from is where we getting it from. We spend sufficient money that we, as Black America alone, spend so much money that if we were a nation, we would have the 15th largest, that's 1-5, the 15th largest GDP in the world. We need to be aware of our power. Tomorrow, we are flexing our power. We ain't spending nothing. Whoever Black-owned institutions you supporting today, do it today. Black businesses, we will see y'all again Saturday because we're going to come back strong with Support Black Business Saturday. And in March, we are going to have Black History, the March edition, because it's FUBU forever, and we figuring out how to get our financial resources together. Y'all share this tool. Make sure your people in them type in their zip code. Let them see what's going to happen. Your elders, the people in your life who've been misinformed, disinformed, and need to be reformed, and they renewing of their mind, share the tool with them. Let them see it as well so people can understand what the impact is going to be. All right, we got to go to commercial break. I love y'all. Bye, YouTube. SiriusXM Urban View. We'll be right back. Dr. Hervé Damas is going to be with us. We're talking cancer and its impact on PMS. And what is that other thing called? Hold on. PMS and hold on. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder and what the hell cannabis can do for it. We have a second edition of Flower to the People. Much more to come. We'll be right back after this.